Okay, so far we've taken a look at the control structures, taking a look at the variable scoping. We're going to take a look at a normal structure of a program. We've already taken a look at the mother going out instruction sort of a thing. So for now, we are going to combine all the things that we have seen or we've come across. Now, when we met the first day, I talked about the fact that when you are writing a program, the only way to interact with the user is to use his inputs while you show him output. So if I want to write a program that is going to take three details of a person, more or less like that of a form, then I need three containers before I can store those details. So for now, visually, let you picture something like this. So we have this first container, we have this next one, and then we have this. These are three containers. So in the event we want to give them names. So I'm going to call this something like name, the name variable. Okay. So these are variables. Now I'm going to call this one the sex variable. And I'll call this one age variable. So I have three variables because I'm going to be dealing with a form that expects me to take three items from the person. Now, usually with a form, you have your own output lines. Okay, you will write things, do this, do that, blah, blah, blah. This form is for so, so, and so, so, and so, those kind of things. After you write all of that, all that you are doing is you are using an output statement. So in programming, you cannot write anything on the screen without invoking the command for writing something on the screen. So to write anything on the screen, what you use is the output statement. And in this case, we have, you remember, because we are dealing with the structure of a program, we will be using output, okay, as a command. Supposedly, we are not dealing with any particular language. So your structure is to prompt the user to know that what is coming to display on the screen is a string. I told you of the data type that we have. It's a string. So even if you want to say output, which is the command, what what is your name? It's a nice sentence that you can read. According to the computer, it will be looking at these things as if they are variables or system commands. So to tell the user that you are displaying on the screen something for him to show to the user, this long sentence or a group of words over here should be put in the double quotes so that he knows that when you bring this value close to the output command, it will be showing these things on the screen. So in the background, when this program is run, what is your name will now be on the screen. Now, because you want to put the reply of the user into these boxes, naturally, you are supposed to reserve these boxes. And so to reserve these boxes in programming, we call it declaration. So you need to declare, name as a string. Okay, you declare name as a string, then you declare sex as a character. Okay, this one is just broken English we are writing to represent our program. So we declare name as a string, we declare sex as a character, because those are the types of variables we'll be using. And then age as a number. Now we have different kinds of numbers. We have the floats, we have the double, we have those things. But this is just the structure of a program. So this is what we will keep. Now, because you displayed on the screen what is your name, personally, I would want this line to be at the top. Before you start the program, you will beforehand anticipate the kind of variables you'll be using. So you declare them first, right? So now, what is your name over here will now be printed on the screen. You need a command to take the input of the user so that you can put it inside the variable. When someone, when you ask the person, what is your name? His response will now be kept inside the variable, and the variable is what we anticipated over here, what we call name. So the variable is called name. So input name. When you are done, the person will enter a value, but that value that the person will enter will go straight into the name box. Then we will have output, because the person is done entering his input. We are going to output what do we want to show the guy again. Are you male or female? Are you male or female? Then, after he sees this, the only command that will help us to get his response into the sex container is to write input sex. After writing input sex, the computer will take the guy's input, or the keyboard will now be ready to take any response from the guy into the container. And then now we come to the next one, which is we want to take his age. So we will now write outputs. What do we want to output? Anything you bring close to the output will be brought to the screen. So we need to bring it a message, which is a string. So output, how old are you? So how old are you is a question, but it's a string. So that string that's in quote is what will be printed on the screen. Because the person will respond, we will write input age, and that'll be it. Your variable names are just your own preference and choice. So this is a small program that will help us take details about three items from a user. Okay, I'm going to proceed, but before I do, I want to say the names of your variables could be like this. It shouldn't start with a capital letter all the time. It can be like this. It can start with a small letter. It's not a big deal. All right. So now that we have age, sex of the person, what do we do with it? After getting the age and the sex of the person, you can print it out to the screen. You can start with a greeting. Output, hello, John. I'll put hello. Then you can bring a comma and then you bring in name. Now you can see the name, I did not put the name in quotes. I wrote hello, so it is supposed to print the hello. But because I brought in another item, it will print the hello, sans to print this other item. So print hello, print the other item, hello, then the name. Then I bring another quote. So anything in quotes will be printed just like that. Name that came here is not a string. It came as a variable. So the computer will try to find out what is inside that variable. And as I said that, because of how you've written your program, whatever will be inside that variable is what the person entered. So hello, this. You filled the form and said you are a. Then I'm going to bring in the sex, right? Then I'll bring a comma. The sex also not put in quotes. Because the person said he is so and so years old, I'm trying to create a sentence. I'm more or less trying to make a point. So, hello, so and so. You filled the form and said you are a, so a male, a female. But because our variable stores the items as a character, to say you are a F, you are a M, something like that. You are an F, you get what I'm trying to say. Let's not mark grammar for now. So, and then now we want to bring a string again, and then we'll write when, let me put a full stop here. When was your age? I bring a comma here. When was your age? Now I'm going to show you something. I added a th. So in this case, when was your, they will print the age. When I say print, anytime I say print, I am just talking about output. They will print the age of the person. And because the next string that the output command has to display starts with a th, they will add th to it. So if it is 24, they are going to say, when was your 24th birthday? Right? This one is a question, but we don't have any output. We don't have any variable to take that one. So all that I'm trying to say is after taking input from the user, when you decided to now start by showing him output, eventually the items that he keeps in those variables could be used by you, right? So these ones over here, I didn't put them in quotes, meaning I'm trying to use them as a variable that they are. And as you remember, types of variables that we, I mean, as you remember, the kinds of data, I mean, the data types that we have a string, boolean, we have a character, and then a number. And so if I write name here like this, you know that what the person entered was a string. So this can be replaced by, if the person is called John, John in quotes, making the output command still be able to print all of these or output all of them on the screen. This whole line, this whole line is equivalent to writing, instead of separating with commas, writing it like this. So the same output command is what is going to print the hello. After it prints the hello, it will print name. On the same line, it will not go to the next line. So print hello on a particular line. So something like this. To start like this. Hello. The next command that is there says name. So hello Robert. Let me put a comma in front of the U. So hello Robert. You fill the form and said you are. Now the next command over here says output sex. You are a. Because we stored it in a character form, they're going to say you are a M, right? And then when was your 70th birthday? So it will start by writing the hello first, but you see the hello came with a space. Because there is no instruction to tell the output statement to print the next output on another line, it's still printed on the screen. So it follows that thing that we said, that the computer will execute statements from left to right, moving from top to the bottom. It will execute statements from top to bottom, by to be moving from left to right. So it will print this whole thing on that same line until there is another command to move it to the next screen. So that is it with this structure. I'm going to clean this whole thing. Now let's talk about conditionals. Imagine the same program. You are able to take the inputs of the person who's going to be looking at it, and then you want to make use of what the person chose. We took a look at if statement, and we said we have the simple if else statement, and then cascaded if. I think that's the. So we have the if else, and then we have the if else if else if. That those are the multi cases. When the person enters his age, you could have a condition. If age, okay, if age, that's the age of the person. If age is less than uh, 10, if age is less than 10, then what do we want to do? If the age of the person is less than 10, because we will be moving to C++ right from here, I want to introduce you to the block concept. But I can decide to, I think, neglect this block and then do this instead. Show a box. Because the if statement comes with its own box, when the condition over here is true, because the person will enter his age, when the condition over here is true, we will do everything in the box. So if age is less than 10, output hey, you are very young. If you have more things to say, you can say it. I didn't know. So why do you wear big clothes like that? So that is the things you want to see if the person's age is less than 10. Now, if there's no thing or if there's no condition for you to check again, because this condition was only helpful when the age, this action is only helpful when the age of the person is less than 10. You could have another if statement where it says if the age, okay, let me rather do this. Output end of program. Now let's imagine the program is being run. The program is being run right now. The first line says declare name, sex, and character and number. So that's this line will be the one creating these containers. 1, 2, 3. And then after it creates those containers, the next thing that will happen is it will say output, what's your name? So on the screen, the computer will write, what is your name? Because the computer has written this on the screen, the keyboard will come and then to be doing what it's doing right now. Okay, if you can see it, to be blinking, 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 which means they are expecting me to type my name. So I'll now say Robert, and then the computer will now write, are you a male or female? And I'll write male, and then the computer will write, how old are you? And I'll write 70. After I write 70, the next block that is there, when I call it block, I mean that it comes with a condition and a set of statements. The set of statements is what's inside that box. So when I refer to the box, it's basically the same as the block. So if age is less than 10, now what was the age that I entered? When you look at my answer, the age that I entered was 70. Is 70 less than 10? Because 70 is not less than 10, we will not enter this box in the first place. When we get here, this condition will turn red, which means that if my condition is red, I don't allow you to enter my box. Never. You will not enter my box. If you will not enter my box, then it will be as if I never existed. So if I never existed, then move to the next line after me, which is output end of program. So they are going to say end of program. This is what will be printed on the screen. When it is getting printed on the screen, the codes that surrounded it will not be shown. So this is going to be this program for now. Now, how about, now what about, you really want to speak good English. What about, we come here and then I bring in another if condition, not related to this one. Anytime you start with an if, they are independent items. What if I come here and I say something like this? You remember the modulo sign. So if age modulus 3, equal means I'm comparing. If whatever is here is equal to what is here, so if age modulus 3 equal 0, which means if the age that I entered is a multiple of 3, right? That's when 3 divides it, you get a 0. So over here, it's trying to compare. But I entered 70. If I entered 70 over here, is 70 divisible by 3? If it is, then we'll enter the box and see things. Wow. Your age can be divided by 3. And your age is divisible by 3. Did you know that? Something like that. Set of actions that you want to show the person after it meets that condition. Now, because I entered 70 and 70 doesn't meet this condition, this will also turn red. And then I will not be allowed to enter the box. And so still, when it's, because it's moving from top to bottom, it will skip this, to skip this one too, and then come to end of program. But if the answer was, if age modulus 3 equal 1, then this will not turn red. Will actually meet the condition, because when you divide 70 by 3, the remainder you get, okay, the remainder you get is 1. This operator is called the modulus operator. If you watch the operator video, the modulus operator actually explains this. It just talks about the remainder you get after dividing a particular number on the left by another number here. And the remainder is 1. So 70 divided by 3, the remainder we get is 1, which means that it's not divisible by 3. So that's how you can write statements, except there is a branch where if the age is not less than 10, then it means that the age is greater than 10. So in that case, you would want to use an else block. So the else block just says, I don't have a condition here, but I depend on the one that just came. So else means the previous condition that existed, I am trying to build on it. What is this? So the condition that just was written over here, I am only its counterpart. I will only be executed if it doesn't work. So in this case, we have if age is less than 10, output all these things. Else means that age is not less than 10. So in this case, in my situation, they are going to say, wow, your age is not divisible by 3. So the computer, after realizing I wrote 70, to say, wow, your age is not divisible by 3. Did you know? And then it will now bring end of program. Now, I want to reiterate some of the things I discussed in the previous videos. I said that computer will start executing statement from top to bottom. So this is a whole set of instruction. So when it starts executing this statement, to start with this line, declare, so that we get these containers. And then it will come to this line, and then it will get to that container. I talked of two kinds of translators. Said that we have the compiler and then we have the interpreter. A compiler will look at the whole code, make sure that there is no error before it starts showing you the output. But an interpreter will run this line, show you the output, run this line too, like that. So if you have a mistake like output, it will do everything up to this point. You see the output clearly. But because this one has an error, it will stop here. The compiler, after realizing that there is an error here, it won't do this, it won't do that. It will just be stuck and it will tell you, hey, you have error here, error here, error here, like that. That is it with the basic structure of a program. So we will take a look at the other kinds of if statements. You see, this if came with an else. There are instances you have multiple if statements all joined to that same structure. Looking at how we structured this, if it's English, you'll see that they belong to the same statement. If the person who knocked is a girl, give her a skirt, else give the person a trouser, right? In that case, it's part of the same sentence. Now, if I say if he's a boy, give him a book. If he is a girl, give her a pen. At this very point, I've said two statements. They are not even related. But when I bring you to the if and else statement, uh, that one means one sentence. It's either this or that. Okay. So if age, else do this. What about we only want to handle specific instances? So I'll say if age is less than 10, do this. Else if age is equal to 4. Now let me make it. If age is equal to 20. The only way it will get to this block is when this side decides to be false. If this side is false, I mean, if age is less than 10, then it is going to skip this block and check to see if there is another condition that our current values in the container or in the variables match. So if age is equal to 30, then it will come here. Because it skipped this one, it is only looking for a place that to be true. Because this is also going to be false, we will not enter this box. We will not enter this one too. So we'll skip these two and move straight to end of program. Because according to our data, the age is not equal to 30 as well. But if we had one last block, that will now be having, because we had another thing called if, else, if, else, if, and then you have the final else. You could write your program without this last else. It will still work here. But if you wanted to handle a situation where all the conditions that you wrote were not met, you wanted to write something on the screen. So that's something over here. That is, if your condition of the thing being less than is not met, then you would come here. So in that situation, if it skips this and comes here, and this one happens to be true, it will output this and it will no longer come to this one because it is part of the same sentence. If it's this, do this, else. If it's this, do this, else. If it's this, do this. It's different from two if statements living by themselves. The else helps you to know that they are part of the same sentence. That's why I'll end here. I will meet you subsequently. Think on a Thursday. Today, something came crashing in the morning. So watch this video and then I'll get back to you.